There was a very scary conclusion to the AEW World Title main event. It was called off due to Hangman Adam Page being knocked out and being checked on by medical staff, having to be stretchered out. Everybody was aghast. Everybody immediately sent out their positive healing thoughts to Hangman Adam Page and his family. Wrestling is a contact line of sports and entertainment where the wrestlers put their bodies, their minds, their souls, everything on the line for our entertainment and because they love what they do. And nobody wishes for any injuries to happen. So hopefully, whether it's a few weeks, a few months, however long it takes, that Hangman Adam Page can get back to doing what he loves. But even if that takes a while, just hopefully he can enjoy a great quality of life with his wife and his newborn child. Positive healing thoughts sent to Adam Hangman Page and his family. No doubt about that. Take care, cowboy. Come back soon. Do what you love. Now, I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Cincinnati, Ohio. The big title match between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. It's Tittle Tuesday. Wait, Title Tuesday. It'd be better if it was Tittle Tuesday because, my goodness, boy, the ratings would certainly perk up right there. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani on commentary. I like the moving graphics for Moxley and Page. That was really cool. You know what? Bring that shit back. That gives me some great flashbacks. Also, it just makes the matches seem, more special. The crowd was pretty goddamn loud. I don't know how full it was, but they seemed really loud. Whoever was in attendance, they were really, really up. So, shout out to Skinny Mysterio on Twitter for being in attendance. I hope she had a great goddamn time. Hilarious goddamn account. Seriously, one of the funniest goddamn accounts, one of the most real accounts I follow. Great passionate wrestling fan. Hilarious as fucking. Has no filter. Again, shout out Skinny Mysterio. So, we start off with Death Triangle, Pac and the Lucha Brothers against the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy for the Trios Championships. I'm going to read to you verbatim what I wrote down. Oh boy, more of this Orange Cassidy, Pac, and Lucha Bros Best Friends nonsense. Because this is going to be like the match that they had right after All Out to crown new Trios champions. Look, if you like this stuff, then you probably really like this match. Me, it's the same repetitive stuff I've seen where even though, yes, Pac and the Lucha Bros can do a lot of flippy shit, they immediately broke out the flippy shit. There was no tag psychology. There was no nothing. It was just a car crash, which, yes, kind of applied to the cruiserweight matches in WCW in the 90s. But honestly, that even got to where it was a little bit ridiculous. But also, it just meant a little bit more because we didn't see every single goddamn move utilized match after match after match after match. So yes, the crowd was into it, and it all blended together for me. And Phoenix stopped Pac from using the ring bell hammer, which he suddenly started using for no goddamn reason. And the Lucha Bros, Phoenix managed to get the victory, so there you go. So Death Triangle retains. Okay, the match was what it was. It just blended together. We get a pre-tape on Hangman and Moxley. Very well done. I did like how they would include recaps of certain matches. Just like, what led to this? Or they would use footage from other promotions. They can do this stuff right when they want to. And I will say that they got a few things right on this show. And the conclusion to the main event obviously wasn't their fault. Freak accident and terrible thing that happened. Recaps of Shida and Storm, how they've been friends, they've been rivals, and they are going to, they're going to go at it. It's Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm. I was totally fine during this match. How dare you accuse me otherwise? So, AEW Interim Women's Championship. Rick Knox is the referee. I want to say right now, even though I'm sure Rick Knox is a nice individual, he is the worst referee in mainstream wrestling. I want Shida to cane me in the face, is what I noted. I have issues. There was scintillating camera work during this match. Both these women can work. And at least they put the women on after that six-man match, and it was another Tittle Tuesday match. Okay, maybe I should stop that, but I won't. And the crowd was into it enough. Shida is good. I don't really get the criticisms of Shida. Shida's better than some of the other, they're like just carbon copy cookie cutters that don't really have that much character definition that are brought over from, various Japanese promotions. She has personality and has the ability to really be somebody that they can build a division around. I mean, hell, she was women's champion for over a year, and it's a shame she didn't really get to wrestle that often in front of fans, but pandemic and all that. I know there are times where people get upset about the whole who's the heel, who's the face thing. Sometimes face versus face, heel versus heel can work. Unfortunately, if you don't have a reason to cheer one person over another, then the match is just a series of moves between perhaps two great athletes. In the case of this, it just, where are the stakes besides the championship? Stakes. Well worked, though. And I think Tony was more of the heel, I think. Not sure. I mean, the whole point is these women worked hard. We did get a weird, like plex counter. I think it was like a counter out of a suplex. I don't know what was going on. We got a German bridge for 2. We got a tornado DDT for 2. And then we got a stuff pile driver that they're calling the Storm 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Tony Storm retains. Suddenly, Jamie Hayter and Rebel attack. Jamie Hayter, goddamn, every time I see Jamie Hayter on my television, I'm happy. And I mean that, obviously, because, yes, of wrestling ability. Yes, look, she is a gorgeous woman. She has statuesque, but she has the talent to honestly be the woman that can carry this division. Nothing against Toni Storm. Nothing against her at all. They've made her feel completely nullified. She got this victory here, but then her and Rebel, who looks great, hasn't really meant a whole lot. As far as, she's, a bit of a flunky, but sometimes some of the stuff she does works, and other times it just gets a little bit out of control. Saraya, defender of the Abusiverse, and that's what I'm going to call her until she apologizes for being a defender of the Abusiverse. Good old Saraya. Good old goddamn Saraya with her slinky goddamn neck and defending of abusers. Idiot. She gets back in the ring. I don't think it's going to last very long. She attacks Britt. Where did Sheeta go? She had just disappeared. But don't worry, Tony will be saved by a Chex Notes Riho. The Fluffer is back. Okay, now I know the Riho is not necessarily the biggest individual. In fact, I think that if you turned her sideways in an air vent, she would just go right up or right down, depending on where the vent was. Why did she look thinner? Is she okay? Is she healthy? These are genuine questions. I was worried. And also, why was she dressed like an anime background character? I don't care if she can do the moves. Riho should have never been the first women's champion. She could have beaten Nyla Rose, who should have been the first women's champion. Keep your transphobic comments out of the goddamn comments, or otherwise you're going to get the fucking ban hammer. I already dealt with that bullshit with my Hellraiser review. I don't need it here. But she comes back, and she helped, and she helped out Tony. Tony needed to be saved by a girl that didn't even look like she didn't even look as big as Wardlow's leg. Honestly, yes, Riho got a big pop. Saraya got no reaction. That's already off the goddamn rails. Goddamn it, seriously. I know there's some people who like Riho. Just, goddamn it, no. Just no. Anyway, we then do a pre-tape on War Joe. They're talking about the kingdom. And Joe did have this great line. You were given the choice of 6 million ways to die, and you still chose the wrong one. Because Joe is a really good promo. Renee is with FTR, and they talk about going way back with Renee. They want the AEW tag titles. Here's Swerve and Lee. And Lee seems to be upset with Swerve. This is pretty much telegraphing that Swerve's going to get upset at Lee and turn on him after the match next week. They're going to have a number one contenders match. It's going to be FTR putting their number one contendership against Swerve and Lee. Okay. FTR can make a lot of matches work. What didn't work was the next thing with Marvez talking to Darby, Lethal, and Dutt. And there's going to be no physicality. Hell about that. We know what Darby's weakness is. I don't know what Darby's weakness is. I don't know. He apparently is indestructible because he keeps just bashing himself into shit. He ain't going to get up soon. But they beat him up. Where was Sting? Where was Sting? And then they put the garage door on Darby, and then Lethal does a figure four, and this was stupid. This was really stupid. And I'm sorry, I love Sanjay, but him being just a shouty, hey Spike, hey Spike, hey Spike manager, it's not really working. Shivani's with Regal. This was the highlight of the program, in all honesty. Interrupted by MJF to a pop. I'm not going to talk about all this verbatim. I'm going to mention the highlights. The full segment, I believe, is on AEW's YouTube channel. Check that shit out. And I got hit in the head and I saw some stars. It was great because MJF was here, and he's one of the few bright points of this program. Actually, he's one of the few bright points of this company. It's not that there aren't good talents in this company, it's just he's one of the few that's been mostly utilized right, except for the Dinner Debonair segment that was abysmal. How he recovered from that, I don't know. Story time with MJF. Talks about being trained by Pat Buck and Brian Myers, and he got AEW extra work, and that Regal saw his tryout match and said, "You got 3 minutes, sell me on this." he did, and he says, I'm going to try to get you a job. And that MJF says, I was no longer a 5'8" nothing ADD riddled Jew boy. His words, by the way, just want to say his words. He was going to be a superstar, but 19 is too young. He did get extra work being security for Samoa Joe, which was kind of funny, actually, looking back on it. And send me a match and a promo each month. After the third month, he says, I'm too busy and you're just showing off your acting skills. He tried to light a fire under him, Regal says, but he says, I kept that message and that made me want to end my life. But I couldn't do that because then I wasn't going to let anybody win. Now you are the old man who got fired and you're like a rat infesting my company, and just talking about this, you become no more than a joke, no more than somebody to laugh at, and that I'm about to become the AEW champion, and it was great. It was great because he was fired up. He was great here. And then Regal talked about his introduction into wrestling, fighting at 16, 17 years old, being bloodied, beaten up by full-grown men to get into wrestling, that he worked hard, but he says, you should have not put your hands on Tony Schiavone. All the years that I made fun of Schiavone, I never put my hands on him. And that he talks about, you use the ring and you punch people out. I use these knucks because I just like hitting people. You take too many shortcuts. Stop taking so many shortcuts. Regal's kind of contradicting himself because he did take shortcuts, but nevertheless, I guess it made for a good story here. He says, you could be the devil or you could hit me. And he turns around. And MJF's got his free shot, and he doesn't take it. And Regal basically says, you got a lot to learn. Do things the right way, and there you go. Great segment. I can't encompass it. I can't encompass the entirety of just how great this was, because MJF's great. Regal's still a great talker. I wish that Regal was still able to go in the ring. Obviously, because of health reasons and age, he can't. With MJF versus Regal, even 2009 William Regal would have been great to watch. So, we get Renee with the Acclaimed and Billy. They are going to be facing Woods and Nice, and it's going to be the titles versus the trademark. Because, Mark Sterling did the whole trademark of Scissor Me. Let me say right now, Mark Sterling seems like a nice guy, but there is no reason for Mark Sterling to be the biggest joke in that company. That it's not even entertaining, like, heel heat. It's just, we're going to make fun of this stuff, and we're taking you right down to comedy bullshit. The guy seems like he's a fine talker. It's just presentation stupid. It's just really, really stupid. So anyway, we then have Renee doing a sit-down with Danielson and Yuta, and basically it boils down to, Danielson, how do you not see that Garcia was using you? Claudio and I saw this. Well, maybe you aren't the hero I thought you were, and he storms off. Dalton Castle then does a Vegas-style entrance with all of his boys. Let's hear it for the Judas. And I don't know why Hager was out there in a really stupid hat, but maybe because, it's like Malibu Stacy, but he's got a new hat. And he's still Jake Hager. Who got re-signed? Why did he get re-signed to the company? He has provided nothing. Ian Riccaboni joins commentary for Jericho versus Dalton Castle, Ring of Honor World Championship. Look, Dalton can work. Jericho has done better in the ring since becoming Ring of Honor champion. I say becoming because, let's be perfectly honest, Jericho is not worthy of being Ring of Honor champion, and it's not going to help it. It's not going to help the status of the championship. It was just to give him another accolade. Also, I want to say quickly, Chris Jericho being signed through 2025. If I have to watch Chris Jericho in the goddamn ring until 2025, I'm going to throw the goddamn towel in on AEW. Now, I know that probably means he's going to transition to being a backstage guy, which is fine. He really shouldn't even be in the ring anymore. But this is a waste of money. Because Jericho has really good ideas, for Chris Jericho, not for anybody else. Dalton can work. I find the stuff with the boys silly. He was throwing the boys at Jake Hager. Jake was determined to keep that hat on, and even though they were having a good wrestling match, they did that comedy with the boy. It just took me out of it. And I'm nothing against Dalton Castle. It's nothing against even the boys or whoever the fuck they are, but just this wasn't good. It just was taking away from what was a fine wrestling match. We got some good submission counters. Bangarang for 2. The Judas Effect for 3. There you go. Jericho promo. They grab Ian Riccaboni. Well, the former 2.0 does. Jerry Lynn steps in, and then Jericho hits a really, really bad tombstone on the championship on the stage. Now, yeah, obviously you don't want to hurt Jerry Lynn because he has a surgically repaired neck, and also he beat his body up, so even if he didn't have a surgically repaired neck, you don't want to do that for a guy that's, I believe, in his 50s. He's got to be in his 50s, maybe close. No, I don't know if he's 60. But the whole point is, the whole Jericho Appreciation Society thing is stupid. Jericho has drugged down pretty much everything he's been involved in. And I am fearful of what's going to happen with anything that he has his, fingers on or in over the next couple years. Pre-tape on Christian and Luchasaurus. They're done with Jungle Boy. They're going after gold. So we get to Rampage plugs, where it's going to be the Acclaimed versus Neeson Woods. We're going to get Willow and Ford, Roosh and 10. Hook versus Ari Daivari. Dynamite is FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. #1 contendership on the line. Riho versus Jamie Hayter. What did Jamie Hayter do to deserve to have to work with the fluffer? Jericho and Garcia versus Claudio and Yuta, and Danielson versus Sammy. Maybe Danielson can knock some sense into Sammy or knock him out of this business because he doesn't deserve to be there. Renee is with Layla Gray and Layla Gray. Good God. Whew. She looks great. And Kara Hogan. They've been looking for the TBS Championship. Jade is upset and says she will hold up Rampage, which is in Jacksonville. They're doing Rampage live more often. I hate to say it, but that might not be the worst idea in the world. Also, they're in Jacksonville. I hope they can draw a good amount of fans there. She will hold up the show until Nyla gives her the title back. Wild Thing, you make Cincinnati sing. And Hangman's already in the ring, and Hangman says, I'm going to go attack him among his hometown people. And they brawl for a while. They brawl to the ring. And they brawl in the ring, and they brawl back outside the ring. Moxley's bleeding on the steps. It's a world title match, by the way. The bell doesn't ring before... I believe the bell doesn't ring before we go to break. Okay, you know what? A jump start with this, with how they've been promoting it, fine. That's fine. Even though jump starts have happened way too much in WWE, New Japan, AEW, I'll excuse it here, I guess, from a fan's perspective. Even though I normally hate it, it makes sense here. They beat the shit out of each other. Hangman decides to basically just go for the cut, and he keeps beating up Moxley. Moxley does fire back, gets hit with the dead eye on the apron. MJF's no longer in the skybox. Could we get a cash in? And we get a super fallaway slam for 2, and they're battling, and then the King Kong lariat, where Hangman does a rotation, and I don't know if he hit him. I don't know if it was the lariat that knocked him out or the way he hit the mat. It's not important. The whole point is that I hope the Hangman's going to be all right. That was scary. Medical staff is checking on him. The announcers kill time. Regal's down there to congratulate Moxley, but also make sure, hey, is Hangman all right? And I did not watch this live, obviously. That's why you're getting this review hours later. But the crowd's chanting cowboy shit as he's being stretchered out. And Moxley cuts a promo saying he puts over Page. Hopefully he will be able to, recover, spend time with his wife and child, come back and do what he loves, how hard work pays off. It's hard to be in wrestling. And that they missed like a bunch of shits. They missed one shit with Jade in a pre-tape, and also 3 during this, 2 with Mox and 1 with MJF, who teases the cash in and says, no, I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to cash in at Full Gear. And there you go. That is the end of AEW Dynamite. I hope that Hangman Page recovers 100%, however long that takes. I just hope that he's going to be all right. MJF versus Mox at Full Gear is a go in a month. It's going to be pretty interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.